Dear life, nevermore. On the anniversary of Hurricane Gilbert 36 years ago, I want to share my story of the first attempt at sexual violation by my cousin when I was just 7 years old when we sought shelter during the passage of the hurricane. I hope my story inspires you to grow through what you have gone through and that you find the courage to share yours to help others. Welcome to A Life Nevermore, a public diary for private pain. Remember to subscribe to our channel. If you were asked to describe one of the most vivid experiences you've had with a natural disaster, you would begin by describing the raging winds and waters of a hurricane, the scorching heat of a wildfire, or even the horrendous shaking of an earthquake. Those would also be among my most vivid memories, but not as vivid as the one I will share with you. I was just 7 years old when my mother took my siblings and me to a neighboring community as she sought safety among her relatives from the impending hurricane. The year was 1988, September 12 to be exact, when Hurricane Gilbert invaded Jamaica, leaving 49 people dead, several injured, millions of dollars of losses in agriculture and infrastructure, and me scarred for life. No, it wasn't the force of the winds, the rage of the rain, or even the darkness that came with Sir Gilbert's wrath. Instead, it was the tampering of my innocence as several members of my relatives were tightly crammed on one bed. I vividly remember that my cousin, the same age as I was, used the terrifying opportunity to search for my body with his hands. When he found me, he repeatedly tried to pull down and pull away my underwear to penetrate my vagina with his penis. I pulled away several times, and thankfully, he wasn't able to. And after several tiring attempts, he gave up trying. Now in my early 40s, I still can't make sense of the situation. But here are the questions and thoughts that linger even after 3 decades. Number 1. It was 1988. What does a 7-year-old boy know about sex? You know what? Some things are better left unknown. Number 2 is perhaps the most distressing. I remember not wanting to move too much because even though this was my first encounter with stuff like that, my 7-year-old self knew that it was wrong and somehow feared I would be caught and blamed or shamed even though I wasn't the perpetrator. Number 3, whenever I saw my cousin at primary school, I don't know if it was fear, but the shame I felt never allowed me to confront him. If anything, it made me want to be cool with him, pretending he did nothing, so the shame didn't have to surface. As we grew up and went to different high schools, whenever I saw him, it was almost like we were close. Not as cousins who are close in age, but close for some odd reason. A connection, if you will. Whenever I saw him throughout the years, I would try to call him first, as if I revered him in some sort of way. Strangely enough, he always seems happy, getting on with his life, which gives the feeling that he may not even remember what he did and tried to do. Thankfully, I haven't seen him for many years. Or could it be that he remembers, but it's not a big deal to him? After all, it's been over 30 years since. Who has time for old, childish memories? I do. Not because I want to, but because they still haunt me. My 4th thought is how many little girls and boys have similar or worse encounters with relatives and strangers who tamper with their innocence. My 5th and most endearing question is why I wasn't comfortable enough to tell anybody, even my mother, who was his mother's cousin and best friend. Perhaps that influenced my reason for not telling her. Want to know the truth? At 42 years old, I am still scared of telling anyone for fear of being labeled a liar, causing division among my family members, and being ostracized for bringing up what they might consider old wounds. But old wounds untreated remain fresh wounds. Or perhaps I am just trying to dodge the shame that would be brought upon me. I am not quite sure what I'm afraid of, but all I know is it is the victims who are usually left with the bag of burdens, guilt, shame, and pain. While Hurricane Gilbert is long gone, the pain of this memory still lives on. That's my ounce. What's yours? Share it in the comments below so that a 7 or 77-year-old male or female can be helped in ways I couldn't help myself. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.